Hello and welcome to this episode of Stats Chats. Here we're going to be talking about how to conduct the Mann Whitney U, the non-parametric cousin of the parametric t-test. So let's look at this idea conceptually for a moment, and then we'll go over an example and talk about how to run this type of assessment. So to run a Mann Whitney U, you open SPSS, go to Analyze, then you click on Non-Parametric Legacy Dialogues and select 2 independent samples. Remember, this is similar to an independent samples t-test. And then for variables, for this example, we're going to use high and low anxiety as a dichotomous grouping variable, and then pre-test well-being from the Trait Emotional Intelligence Questionnaire as the grouping variable. And our research question is there a statistically significant difference between well-being and those who have high attachment-related anxiety, so high anxiety with respect to their close relationships, and those who have low attachment-related anxiety, so lower anxiety with respect to those relationships. The Mann Whitney U output here is going to look something like this, and we're going to pay attention to the significance level column that corresponds with our data. And so that's a little bit about the Mann Whitney U. Let's then we can look at means to see what the direction is of the U. So it's going to look like this. When you click on Analyze in SPSS, you'll see a drop-down menu appears, and then when you scroll down to Non-Parametric Test and click on the corresponding arrow, another drop-down box appears, and then you click Legacy Dialogues, and a final drop-down box appears, and you can click on 2 independent samples, and this will pull up the new dialog box where you can identify your variables. So remember, in order to do a Mann Whitney U test, we need at least 2 variables, one that's categorical and one that is continuous. So let's go ahead and go back into SPSS here. I have a data file called Qualitative Empathy that we're working from. So we go to Analyze, and then we scroll down to Non-Parametric Test, and then we go to Legacy Dialogues, and then we scroll down to 2 independent samples. Okay, so here my information is already in here because I've used several, but you can see that you'll identify a testing variable. So what you'll do if your testing variable is not already here, you'll go and select it on the left and then click the arrow to move it over. So I'll move a few of these back because we don't necessarily need to look at everything. And then under options, you can select quartiles if you'd like to have the quartiles, and descriptive statistics if you'd like those. And then we click OK. And SPSS Statistics Viewer output window pops up, and we can see the output there under Test Statistics. Now you'll notice there's 2 rows that correspond to significance level, the last 2 rows of the table. Now, exact significance level is going to be for samples with 50 participants or more. 30 participants or more. Because we have 50 in our sample, we can use this, but a lot of times we get used to using this second to last significance level row, because a lot of times with non-parametric statistics, we are dealing with smaller samples. So as you can see here, most of these are not statistically significant, but when we go over to well-being, the trait emotional intelligence well-being, we can see that this is less than 0.05. This is 0.024. With either value, there is a statistically significant difference in people's well-being levels when between groups with high attachment-related anxiety and low attachment-related anxiety. So we know that these are different. You might be interested in knowing, well, what is the direction of the difference? So that's when we want to look at the descriptive statistics. And so here you can see the little report here. For low anxiety, the median level of well-being is 5.9. For high anxiety, the median well-being is 4.7. This is a continuous variable, so we can look at mean. The low anxiety for the mean was 5.6, and the high anxiety was 4.45. So we can see that, yes, there is a statistically significant difference in well-being levels in terms of attachment-related anxiety. So as your level of anxiety, attachment-related anxiety decreases, if you find yourself having low attachment-related anxiety, which is associated with a secure attachment style, you're more likely to have higher well-being, right? Those that have low attachment-related anxiety tend to have more well-being, right? So we find that well-being on the trait emotional intelligence questionnaire includes trait happiness, trait optimism, and self-esteem, according to Petride's work on the TEAQ, the Trait Emotional Intelligence Questionnaire. And so we can see there is a statistically significant difference in these well-being levels depending on whether a participant at the time of pretest had high or low anxiety. So what does this tell us? Well, one implication is that low anxiety was expressed in well-being. So there are characteristics that we want to improve and want to promote among our participants. So this low anxiety may be a more adaptive state of mind for being fully present with people in the helping professions. So if we can also target interventions that help promote trait happiness and trait optimism, self-esteem, that's going to help people have a greater sense of well-being in these cases. Okay, so this is an example of the Mann Whitney U, and we can also, if you want to run the descriptives and look at the comparison between the means and medians, you can also go to Analyze, Compare Means, and Select Means and get this report where you can compare the well-being levels in this example. All right, and that's a little bit about the Mann Whitney U, the non-parametric alternative to the independent samples t-test that we often use in parametric statistics. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and I hope the information about well-being and emotional intelligence leaves you with some concepts to contemplate. Until next time, may God bless your work. Thank you for watching.